Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as Ivy Winter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney video. It is so good to be back after being away for a couple of weeks. A lot of my videos for the past few weeks were pre-recorded like pretty early. So it's nice to be home from the honeymoon. Just about to head to Disney. I guess as soon as this goes up, I'll already be at Disney for 5 days, which is super exciting. And I want to talk today about what I think is the best strategy for Pandora. So Pandora is still really new in terms of Disney World. It is still very packed. I was actually looking at the wait times this week and they're easily hitting 180 minutes plus, which actually isn't even that bad as it was when I was there in July. But I expect that those wait times won't really go down much. If anything, they will only go up in the summer. Feel like it's going to be very similar to how Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was for the first few years, which still has long waits. Flight of Passage, definitely still hard to get on, and even Navi River Journey is, a tough one. A lot of people feel that waiting for more than 30 minutes isn't worth it, so it can be a little tough when a lot of the wait times can be well over that. If you're planning on spending any time in Pandora, you need to start thinking about it early. You can make your fast passes 60 days out if you're staying on property, 30 if you aren't, and now 90 if you are one of those club level people who can pay for that. And so you really want to be on top of getting your fast passes 60 days out, especially for Avatar Land. It is not guaranteed that you will get fast passes 60 days out, but this is still the first move that you need to make. You need to get online and get your fast passes 60 days out and look as soon as you can for your week. What I find is a best way to do this is don't look for the first day you're arriving, but look for the last day you're arriving. A lot of other people who are now 60 days out are going to start with, say, that Monday they're gonna arrive, let's say, and then work their way forward. I find it's better to work your way backwards because since most people are going in that direction, sometimes you can find fast passes a little later in the week, and then plan your week's plans around that. Flight of Passage should be your priority because that wait is always longer than Navi River Journey ever is, so make that your priority for your group as soon as possible. If it's possible, try to break up the groups into smaller numbers. If you're going with, say, 5 people, maybe look for 2 and then look for 3 in overlapping times. Sometimes I find that actually works better than trying to find 5 fast passes for a specific window. Maybe you can get 2 at 11:10 to 12:10 and then 3 at 11:30 to 12:30 and then just wait for that second window for you all to go together. If you have fast passes, awesome, then you've kind of jumped over a huge hurdle. But if you haven't gotten them, don't fear. There are other things that you can do and other ways to tackle Pandora. So one way I got fast passes when I got down there was actually looking the day of. I was in Magic Kingdom, I was playing around on my phone, refreshing the search, and a Flight of Passage fast pass popped up. I immediately booked it for like 3 hours later and changed my plans and went over to Animal Kingdom. And to me it was worth it. I had not been on the ride yet and I really wanted to go on it. And it was just great to have that opportunity. So if you can be flexible and you can check on the day of and your group can be flexible, I would say use that app, make sure you have the My Disney Experience app, and make sure you're always refreshing to see what is available, because you never know, people cancel all the time. They're always changing plans throughout the day and you might be able to snag one. So say you have no fast passes whatsoever and you're freaking out and you don't think you're gonna get any. What is the next best thing to do? Well, honestly, rope drop. And that's what I did. And I've said before in my park routine, I am not a rope dropper, but I did do it for Avatar Land because I wanted to get on those rides actually a second time. So I made the point to wake up early and get there for rope drop. I only got there about 45 minutes before park opening. Some people argue you need to get there an hour earlier. It's really up to you. It's likely up to your group and also how fast you guys are. Me, I'm a New Yorker, I walk fast. I was also one person, so I didn't have to worry about anyone else keeping up with me. So keep that in mind. If you feel like you need to have that time to get there, then maybe get there a little earlier so you're already ahead of the group. When I arrived 45 minutes before, I was allowed to go through the turnstiles. They held us at the bridge by Tiffin's, the bridge into Pandora that way. There's actually 2 entrances, one through Africa and one through Tiffin's when you're coming from the main hub. They held us there until official park opening, and then they let everyone move in. But you can't just run for the line unless you're all the way at the front, because they're going to start sectioning you off. So what I learned is they're going to put so many people into the queue, but they're actually not going to totally fill the queue, because the queue for a Flight of Passage is very, very long. I mean, it was built to hold, you know, like 5 hours worth of waiting. So what they do is they fill in so many people, and then they start sectioning and corralling off people into these groups. So they held some people a little further back across a certain area, and that was a group. And then they made a little bit more space and held people back a little further towards Africa, and that was a group. And there was cast members actually standing at each section and letting people know when they can move through into the next almost like holding pattern until you were allowed to go in the queue. And by the time I actually got into the queue, I probably only waited about 25 minutes from where I was placed to when I got into the queue. I walked through half of it, so half of it was empty. And then I waited the rest of my wait. My total wait was about 75 minutes, which is not bad at all for that ride first thing in the morning, and for only getting there 45 minutes ahead of time. So if you get to the parks even earlier, your wait might be even shorter. You might be getting onto that ride within 45 minutes, an hour tops. So it's totally worth it. Do not be discouraged if you suddenly are in line way down by Africa, which I was. It's just because of how they're holding the lines. I promise you it's not gonna be like 3 hours from there. Stick with it, stay on that line to get into the ride. And the next thing you wanna do as soon as you get off a Flight of Passage is go right over to Navi River Journey. I believe that morning I just walked on in about 10 minutes because there were still so many people still in line for Flight of Passage that prioritized that first, that I was able to kind of walk onto Navi River Journey and experience that. And then afterwards, I took the time to take in my surroundings. And honestly, if you want to get on both of these rides, that's kind of what you need to do. It's kind of hard to stop and enjoy Pandora when you're rushing to where you gotta go, but if they are your priority, get on the rides first, then enjoy Pandora and walk around and catch the drum show and maybe eat there and all that good stuff. If for some reason you cannot get there in a morning, then get there for an extra magic hour night. Over the summer they were doing it every single night. I'm not sure that they're still doing that anymore, but it was a huge, huge help on being able to get on the rides. I was able to get on Navi River Journey in just a 30-minute wait, which was not bad. At nighttime, it's a whole different experience too. You've got the whole bioluminescence thing going on, so it's nice to even experience it both ways if you can. But that really would be your second option. If you can't do rope drop, if it's just not gonna happen with your group, or for whatever reason you just can't fit it in, then do extra magic hours. I find it's just a really good way to take advantage and to just enjoy the more quieter parts of the park at nighttime, because Animal Kingdom can get very quiet in the other sections. So if you do wrap up Avatar Land at a pretty good amount of time, then you can just walk on Everest and walk on Dinosaur and all of that good stuff, do the nighttime safari, which is really spectacular. So that's my strategy. Make sure that you get up and do your 60-day fast passes. If you can't get fast passes 60 days out, check the day of every single day and see if you can get something last minute. If you can't do that, rope drop it, and if you can't do that, do extra magic hours at night. Those are the best ways to try to get onto the rides. Going in the middle of the day, it's just gonna be a nightmare. You're gonna look at that wait time and you're gonna turn right around and walk away. You're gonna grab one of those rum Dole Whips and be like, forget this. So make sure that you try to either come very early, very late, and always be refreshing that app to find fast passes. If you have any tips of something that has worked for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear how people are planning their days around Pandora, and this will be really interesting to see how that extends once we have Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land as well. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, then you should subscribe. I try to put Disney videos out every single week, and since I'm at Disney World right now, I'm going to be putting out some vlogs, so you should definitely stick around for that. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of the day.